Thanks for meeting with me.
Selena, let me just adjust my microphone that I have for some reason. Thanks for coming in. How was traffic?
It was brisk. Brisk, it was moving.
I like what you've done with your hair here.
I thought I'd spoil myself after the book.
Yeah, well, first of all, I just want to preface this meeting by saying we here at HarperCollins are very satisfied with our relationship so far. Sales have been brisk. You're a tireless self-promoter. And the reviews have been written. We're flattered that you've come back to us with your follow-up proposal.
Jim, you know I always admire Harper's commitment to quality.
Yeah. Now, I've read through this manuscript here for your second book, and I've got to say, I'm so amazed you got it out this quickly.
When you're dealing with somebody like Alex Rodriguez, there's just so much material, you know? It was almost automatic.
Yeah, before we get into it, I just have a question about the title that you chose here.
Sure, Lex Riguez.
Yeah, Lex Riguez.
The first book was about A-Rod. This book is aspiring to go beyond A-Rod.
To Lex Riguez. Okay, I guess I've never heard him been called that by anyone before, but okay, sure. I guess that works. Okay, let's get into it, shall we?
Sure.
Now, in your first book, you mentioned, well, you claim that Alex got involved in performance-enhancing drugs in high school.
That's correct.
But here in the second book, you go a step further. You say that, well, in senior year of high school, he got into much harder drugs, specifically as a foot soldier in the Medellin cartel.
You might know them better, the cocaine cowboys, yeah.
Yeah, you even cite unnamed sources that place him at Pablo Escobar's funeral, where he was, quote, I'm quoting, seen kneeling at Pablo's open-faced casket, clutching a single white rose, tenderly weeping and whispering, Para ti mil veces más de la valla. For you 1,000 times over the fence.
Jim, you have to understand, that was a seminal moment for Alex. In many ways, he viewed Escobar as his true father, and the funerary promise that he made to that man set him off not just on a path for greatness on the field, but also for one of unspeakable villainy off of it.
You really spoke to people who saw A-Rod at Escobar's funeral? I mean, this guy was a criminal mastermind responsible for scores of horrific murders and political assassinations.
Jim, I've made promises to protect the anonymity of my sources. If I were to divulge the names of these people, I mean, I think you understand the people that they deal with.
Fair enough, but Selena, listen, we both know you took a lot of heat from some of the allegations you made in your first book.
Sure.
I just want to make sure that we can answer to any questions about your credibility, especially when you're making allegations like this one on page 114. In the fall of 1999, Alex was approached by 3 Ukrainian businessmen who convinced the all-star shortstop to help fund a startup human trafficking ring. By 2003, Alex had been appointed overlord of the International People Smuggling Syndicate, earning the nickname Preshnechnya, the Dark Wolf. I mean, this all seems highly improbable.
Jim, honestly, I've worked so closely with Alex at this point that nothing surprises me. When I unearthed that he was on the board at Enron, that he was co-conspirator with Bernie Madoff, that he rigged condo board elections from Seattle to Secaucus, everything was in character for him.
Listen, I can't speak to any of that, but I just have to believe, and if you're charging that Alex Rodriguez was staging, and you detail on page 229, organized high-stakes bald eagle fights in a rooftop battle dome that he built above his Manhattan penthouse apartment, I mean, somebody would have noticed that. Listen, I'm sorry, Selena, but this is too much of a stretch, even for you. I'm afraid we can't. We can't get slapped with a lawsuit here. I mean, this is libel.
I don't think you have to worry about a lawsuit, Jim.
A-Rod.
'Tis I.
Rodriguez is Roberts. Roberts is Rodriguez. Of course, it all makes sense.
I realized pretty quickly that no matter how well I performed on the field, people were still going to loathe me. So I figured maybe the opposite is true. Perhaps if I'm exceptionally bad, they'll embrace me. So naturally in 2003, I intentionally failed a performance-enhancing drug test. Then a few months later, I created a character, Selena Roberts, an author.
So that 6 years later, you could write a tell-all book about yourself and release it at the exact same time you're returning off the DL from an elective hip surgery, where you can resurrect the struggling Yankees, attract a sympathetic new fan base, and cement yourself among the all-time baseball greats. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it is. So when do you think we can have Lex Riguez on pre-order?
We're we're going to pass on the book. You're a terrible writer.